Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you a Monster Legends Fraternity update slash team shop, update video. I worded that completely wrong. There should have been team shop update video. But anyway, welcome to the updated team shop. There's a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of returning generals and all that jazz. And hey, this time they actually put out runes in the beginning of the event, and they didn't do it like they did last time, where they waited until the next day to put them up. Let's talk about the monsters. We're gonna go left to right, and so forth, like usual, and all that jazz. Now, Invar's pet, he's up for 2.2k, like every other, every pet or anything else that comes out that's new for 2.2k. Don't spend 2.2k on it. It's never worth it. This one especially, it is totally not worth 2.2k. Don't get this thing for 2.2k, please. Just don't. Please don't. Now you're probably wondering, is Invar's pet good? And if you had never checked the wiki, if you never heard of the Monster Legends wiki, if you really don't know any of this guy's moves, I'm here to tell you that he is really, really, really bad. He's not like dead in terms of in terms of my personal ladder of the most usage. I put him second to last. Or he's literally second to last in my personal ladder of best slash not so great generals. He's second to last. In my personal list, the bottom's always going to be Dartmouth, is because he's always left such a it was such a bad start. And he's such a, he's not, he just does damage. It's like damage. He's doing the stereotypical fight. It's just damage. And his ult kills him. It wasn't the best first impressions. That's kind of why he is last on my list. Now, for everyone else's list, I'm pretty sure Invar's pest is, dead last. Because, in all honesty, he does no damage. He literally, if you ever checked his stats, he doesn't do it. He's not meant for damage. He does no damage. And that's really not the point of the monster. I'd more so judge him by his, he's more so, he's kind of like a tanky supporting monster, in terms of just, he's just, self-support, you just kind of look at those things. I'd rate him on that, and yeah, he's probably the worst. He might be the worst tank in the game. He might just very well be the worst tank. Even though he has 100% life shield, this is huge. He does wield 100% life shield. It's on a 4-turn cooldown though, and it only lasts for 2 turns. Now that's actually one of the best things about him is 100% shield. He basically has a double life. He pretty much runs on double life, basically, for at least 2 turns. Or at least for that solid sense. He doesn't get double life. I'm just saying in that sense, for 2 turns, he basically has whatever his hit points are, which is really great. It's nice. But he's kind of designed to just take the single target damage. Because he has a protection move. It's a single target move. He hits somebody and then he gains protection, so he can get all the single target attacks will go straight to him. That's kind of his playstyle. He's not the best tank. He's not the best monster in the game, but every monster do have a purpose, and I'm supposed to, as a guide maker, I'm supposed to tell you guys what the purpose is. And his purpose is really just to tank sponge. He's just a sponge. He does no damage. AoE dazing. A really, really terrible 30% self shield, really, really great 100% self shield, and he can remove negative effects from himself. So he can remove burning or anything off him. He can remove DOTs, but that's about it. Beyond that there's nothing to advance. His ultimate is an AoE stun. I like that. That's kind of one of the reasons. It's another reason why I kind of scale him over Dharma's pet, because his ult doesn't blow himself up. His ult doesn't blow himself up. He's really the Invar's pet's meant to tank up the. He's supposed to stall out the focus of the damage dealer in terms of them using single target moves. But that's about it. There's nothing too special about Invar's pet. In all honesty, just use General Aies himself. He's a much better tank. He does more. In fact, a lot of the pets are overshadowed by their, general counterparts because they do more. At least a lot of them. Not all of them, but a great few. So just kind of like just the top of my head right now, just mainly Invar and Dartmouth's pet. You can and compared to other light, like in all honesty, you could probably say this is the light equivalent of Dartmouth's pet. You could pretty much compare it to that, comparing that to the other light monsters in the category. I'm pretty sure light monsters can tank damage more better than this guy. Like with Queen Laeth and Valgar the Impure, they got that AOE immune to all damage except light damage. They have that Ogma. Ogma can make again damage immunity. They don't really need shields. They don't need any of that. Invar AOE life regen and stamina regen. Just comparing it to every other light monster in terms of supporting, they're just better. I mean, like they're better for everybody. This guy's only he's kind of, in all honesty, this bull's kind of selfish. This bull's really selfish. You see that giant metal headband right there? Yeah, you got that from being selfish. You probably got that for being a selfish brat. But yeah, he's kind of that's kind of a silly analogy, but I kind of wanted to make a joke. I don't know if it was funny or not. But yeah, he's self-oriented. He's he's like he only puts shields on himself. He wants everything on himself. I mean, like that's basically he's just that's all. Like his shields. It's just a shelf. It's a self shield words, self shield. I think the only thing that's not selfish about him is his protection. Like because he draws in all those single target attacks. But that's about it. That's what he's meant to do. He doesn't do anything beyond that, and I think that's a lot of a reason why people will probably put him dead last on their best to least best list. He's probably dead last in all those people's lists. For those that really don't like just a single usage for him. I mean, like that's the only thing you can do with Invar's pet. He only does one thing. He can't really build a damage path. He does nothing else beyond defending. That's all he does is defend. In all honesty, if he's left alone in a fight, you're done because he's not gonna do anything. He's gonna stand. He's just gonna sit there. Just take hits until like all the shields are gone. It's a real shame that the full the 100% shield isn't like a full lifespan shield, or at least it's at least another turn, like 3-turn 100% shield. That would be cool, but it's a 2-turn like shield, and then after that's gone, they can proceed to pound you. They can because you got like all you really have left is that 30% shield, and that's not gonna get you too far. In terms of turns, yeah, it's not gonna get you too far. It's nice that he has AOE damage. I mean, like he has the daze. That's nice. That's nice. I think that goes well with just being able to stomach more attacks and before he kicks over. But that's about it. That's all there is to know about Invar's pet. That's what I just kind of explained would pretty much be kind of my guide experience. I mean, like probably when I make a guide later on him, that's kind of most of my thought process on Invar's pet. But yeah. Another thing that's kind of disappointing about him, he doesn't have he doesn't have any life moves. I mean, he can't recover life. I think that's another reason why he's probably one of the worst tanks in the game. He can't recover his own life, or like he has no way of doubling life. I mean, like he's probably the worst. He's more than likely the worst tank in the game. Just probably. Just think about all the other like tanks, like quote unquote tanks that I can think of at the moment. He's probably the worst one. It's kind of ironic because Aran's actually on sale right now, and he's he does this he does this better. he does like honestly he does everything Invar's pet but better. I mean, like he doesn't have AoE dazing. I mean, like he's better. I mean, like he's the better kind of playstyle. I mean, like this guy plays with the idea of taunting enemies and having all the damage to him. Again, Aran does that way better. Aran plays that game so much better than this guy. It's awesome. But yeah, you should totally get I highly recommend Aran. I don't have him all the way up yet, but he is a really nice monster. Aran's phenomenally great. Unlike Invar's pet, who is just really, really not in that area of greatness. He's just a sponge. Invar's pet is totally just a sponge. He doesn't really do any damage. He's just a sponge. Uria's pet is now out for 1.1k. If you're really impatient on waiting for this pet to come out, 1.1k is the kind of the impatient price for people that are impatient. It is totally the price. Is he worth it? In all honesty, I always wait for 800 coins for any monster given. I mean, like for generals or / general pets anyway. But this guy is a really strong attacker. This guy is kind of sacrifices like compared to Uria, he sacrificed the blind. He doesn't have a blind, but he has a daze move. He sacrificed, he sacrificed the blind for just straight. He got more damage. He has more damage. He's solely focused on damage. He doesn't have any of the long term like capabilities as Uria, but he does a lot of burst damage. Like he's mainly burst damage. He wants the game to end like just in the span of a few turns. That's kind of like Uria's playstyle. He's bursty damage. I can't imagine him being really popular in the higher class competitive scene. But yeah, he's just mainly damage. He's meant boom. That's kind of his like Uria's pet style is like boom, like die in two or three turns just by natural damage alone. He kind of plays by that play style. General Uria. I really like General Uria. One of my favorite generals in the game. He's now just left the shop for 800 coins. That kind of saddens me. I mean, that kind of saddens me. It does sadden me because I won't be able to suck any more Urias until he comes back for 800 coins. So that's a thing. But yeah, this is in all honesty, this is an all right general. He gets a lot of downplay just because I use this when Voltic exists. He gets that rep with all the other Thunder monsters. In all honesty, he's really not that bad of a general. He's a really nice damage dealer. He's built for kind of like a long term scene because all of his cooldowns are really non-existent. They really aren't any long existent. I guess another thing compared to, in all honesty, I'm sorry I haven't made that video on Uria's pet yet. I'm going to post a guide on Uria actually today. And I think I'll do a guide on Uria's pet too, just to go hand in hand. Both of these monsters are both really fantastic. I highly recommend ranking both of them up, or like as soon as like Uria's pet gets to 800 coins, you should totally stock up on Uria's pet. Get like a bunch of them, rank them up, because a lot of people like using Voltic. And the higher like you're ranked up Uria's pet is, the more likely he's going to be able to sustain against the enemy Voltic, and you are going to have a really great time just having that Uria's pet eat him. It's going to be really awesome if you do that. But anyway, yeah, you kind of wanted to rank get a bunch of Urias too during the time he's 800, just so you could because he actually counters Voltic if he's ranked up a bit. He actually counters him, and it's really great. Again, a lot of benefits. Compared to Uria's pet, he runs on low cooldowns. Not the high. I mean, like he doesn't run like the 7. He doesn't have like a big old 75 damage move. I think his strongest one is a 65 damage, which is totally fine and acceptable. He lacks a special AOE. It's a 40 damage AOE. But he can daze and blind too, so that's a bonus. He's like 65, 60, and I think a 55 damage spammable move, which is really nice. Again, he's a really respectable attacker. I think this is kind of like a thing I just thought of too. Not too long ago. Actually a long time ago. Actually, I kind of think another reason why people aren't too like a lot of people don't like. I'm not saying like every single person in the community hates Uria or anything like that, or at least like the small. I mean, like I don't know how big the pool is of people that either think Uria is just really really bad or anything like that. But I think another reason why people like this is probably from the high end scene or the high class scene. I think a reason why they don't like Uria in particular is because he's not like Atum. He doesn't do any. He just does kind of damage, and a single target blind and daze. I think that bothers them. I think it bothers them that he doesn't do anything beyond just really good damage. I mean, like he doesn't do an AOE shield, he doesn't do an AOE shield. He doesn't do AOE stamp. He doesn't do anything unique. He doesn't because if you look at all the other generals, they do something huge. Invar has an AOE, an AOE allergic to all special damage. General Halter. Well, did I just say Invar? I think I just said Invar. Yeah, the AOE weak to special damage and light moves. AOE life regen. Halter has double damage. Halter has burn. He can burn. He can do AOE magnetism and then AOE, the AOE metal move. That's kind of what he's kind of famous for. But like the other monsters are capable of AOE magnetism. But you get my point. thetys, AOE stamina drain. 100% stamina drain. Atum. He has a really heavy single target move that's spammable. I think it's like a 30. I think it was spammable, and it's like a 31 stamina move. It's like the stamina cost for that move is really heavy, but But he does. You get my point. He also he can do damage plus AOE stun, AOE shield. I mean, like all that jazz. I think that's kind of the reason why Uria doesn't get much credit. And Uria really isn't a bad monster. He does phenomenally great damage. Ulcus, again, I didn't even mention Ulcus. Ulcus does like single target healing, AOE damage reduction, plus poison, plus a daze move. I mean, like, yeah, it just goes on and on. Uria's just kind of, he's got balanced stats. He's not a bad monster. I hope you guys were able to rank him up a bit or get a few of them before he went off the board. He's a really nice monster to use. He's in all honesty, he's really nice. He's not bad, and I think it's disheartening to see like he gets so little credit. It's really sad. But he's a really nice monster. I highly recommend him at some point in your careers. General Invar. Okay, this was the first guy, the first mention I just kind of described during that whole Uria bit. And he's actually the owner of the spool. And you should totally get General Invar. I will say, if you're new to Monster Legends, if you have 1.1k right now, the monster you should be getting right now is General Invar. Light monsters are really hard to come by in this game, and you should totally get this you should totally pick this up for your light roster. He's really well balanced all around. AOE, Daze, and Blind, really great supporting moves in the AOE life regen, AOE weak to all special damage and light damage moves. He's just got a lot of utility. He's a great supporter. He's probably one of the best supporters in the game, just one of the best. I'm not saying he's the best, but one of the best, just because he's very versatile in giving debuffs and buffs. He does a lot of stuff, and that's really neat. General Atum. This was the guy that I was kind of explaining possibly why people don't like Uria all that much, because this guy does damage plus more. I think that's probably a thing. But yeah, this guy is this guy's you'll see this Earth monster in every single Earth War. I kid you not. This is probably one of the Earth monsters that will probably not die out in the competitive scene. He can make literally anybody kind of tanky, because he gives an AOE 100% life shield, or so it's pretty much double life, essentially. Plus he himself can give himself double life. Plus he can return damage that he takes, which is really great. He has an AOE stun. He's very versatile. I will say, if you already have Invar, get Atum next. He's a really well balanced monster. He's totally worth your time. I highly recommend him. General Aies. General Aies is actually the most popular general in the game. She's also the most broken. She's the most broken, most popular general in the game. As much as I really don't like her, I highly recommend getting her. She's like my second least favorite monster in the entire game, because in all honesty, that's the 100% AOE 100% stamina drain. It's just so dirty. It is so dirty. It's really strong. I really don't like this general. I really don't. But in the sense of the competitive scene, this is a really strong competitive monster, since she can take all the enemy's stamina away. And if you can chain deny with that stamina drain, you're pretty much set. They can't do anything else at this point. Such a strong move. It is pretty costly though, so just keep in mind, the game with thetys is always go first. Don't ever let the enemy enemy denier goes before thetys. It's just the rule of thumb. In case they do like a stamina drain move, because if you're stamina drained before you can do your AOE stamina drain. It's actually a really, really huge thing, because it's like almost all, like it's like 120 something stamina just to use the AOE stamina drain. So if you don't have that required stamina, you can't use it, and then you pretty much brought her kind of for nothing. You kind of have, because that's kind of her main. That's her. She's not really a one-trick pony because of the AOE full stamina refill. That's kind of her way out of her big troubling move, because it will take all of her stamina too. That AOE full stamina refill is her way out of that situation once she's recharged. But yeah, that's the huge thing, is the stamina leak, or not stamina leak, stamina drain. That's the hugest thing about her. And once she doesn't have that on her, that's kind of a troubling thing for her. She doesn't like not having it on her. Because her AOE freeze is actually a 50% chance freeze. That's not a 100% freeze, which can be tampering. General Dartmouth. This is the best attacking general, I do believe, giving himself double damage plus half damage taken. He's the only one capable of this in the game at the moment, of getting double damage while also receiving half half the damage, and I think that's really great. This guy is really self-sustaining. A lot of people will do a strength and 2 speed, or 2 strengths and a speed. And even if they're not building the most bulkiest Dartmouth, it doesn't really matter, because again, if you set up that double damage plus half damage buff, you're not taking much damage. You're pretty in an all right situation. Tanky, there is if you build him the extra guy set, he does become formidably scary. Because of he's taking half the damage and he has more life now. If you put a really nice life rune on that, in the extra guy build sense, he's really terrifying to deal with. It's kind of hard to deal with because you're not dealing as much damage to him. Plus, he has more sustainability. He's going to be there for a while until that buff goes away. He's going to be there until that buff goes away. It's just the way it is, unless he's DOT'd to the brim with burning, poison, and bleeding, and all that jazz, and all that sense. Halters pet. This is actually one of my favorite. It might be my most favorite pet. I can't remember, but this is one of my most favorite pet. I know that for sure. Halters pet is pretty neat. He's kind of slow, 3067 speed, I think. I highly recommend the extra guy build. You should totally do that. I might rank this guy up. In all honesty, I might rank up my Halters pet when it goes down to 800 coins. I might get a few of these to rank up because it's his personal favorite. And all that jazz. This is it's a really nice, well-rounded metal monster. He's really tanky. In fact, he plays the tank game better than Invar's pet in terms of in terms of receiving damage and dealing damage. He actually has a heal move too. He has healing too, which is awesome. He also heals. Actually, now the more I think about it, light is weak against metal, so he's actually a counter to Invar's pet, which is even more funny. It's it does even though that's a 30 damage move, but you do get a 75% shield out of it. So he's kind of meant to sponge damage too. I mean, he's a well-rounded soldier. Just think of him like that. I'm named mine Chewie, as an honor to Chewbacca from Star Wars. But yeah, I named mine Chewie. Kind of looks like a gremlin when he's a baby. It is funny. Oh man, it's really funny. Alsa's pet. Okay, I kid you not. My personal opinion, just my personal best to least best generals in the game. I think in terms of the best pet, I think Alsa's pet takes that cake. Because he counters every single nature monster. He counters his own element, essentially. What Alsa's pet does, he makes he has an AoE that does negative healing and no shielding. I don't know if it makes everybody land their attacks too. I have no idea if it does that, but it does negative healing and it prevents shielding. This guy is a health hazard for Earth and nature monsters. You would not believe how health hazardous it is if this guy is present in a fight. And he actually does the AoE on you, or you do it on the enemy nature monsters, because essentially, I kid you not, every single nature monster, save for larger Khan, has a healing move. They just do, whether it's a 30% heal or they have 100% heal. All of them basically heal. Given any given time, they heal. They just do. And so if you have this negative healing debuff on them, they're gonna, instead of healing, they're taking damage. So you can imagine how huge this is. It ruins their tank. It ruins the tank style of nature monsters. It just goes in there and just it withers away. Literally, the effect is called wither. So he's literally just draining them at this point. This guy is an absolute nightmare to Oros. I mean, if this guy was actually used in the higher end scene of the competitive scene, I've noticed in the higher class competitive scene, or people that gone beyond middle class, where they're fighting the beat 'em up style of the PvP arena style of the competitive scene. This guy's probably not seen all that much, and that's probably why they think this guy's absolute crap. This guy really isn't. And I think if they took the time to do a life and 2 speed, they'll see Oros just being drained away. Now I'm not saying use this guy in common and uncommon wars. Always bring monsters to the most appropriate situation. Which case you should bring this guy to rare wars where you have your rare ranked up really nicely and it's not like a gas tank, and or legendary wars where you have a very well respected team. You're not playing on, oh, I have to kill everybody right away, straight away. You kind of have this life sustaining style going on. You're planning for a long game that you're not going to lose any monsters, versus versus the glassiness of the enemy team. So you kind of want to mix it up with like damage reduction, or you're going for the long game. You're not going for the instant win. I think a lot of people in that competitive scene really hate monsters that take a long time. They want monsters that end the game quickly. They don't want things that want to take their time with it, or like any tactical monster that they plan out their things like Scribe or Ulcis Pet, or just anything that takes their time. Like they want things done. They don't want the game to last forever. They want it done in the span of 2 or 3 turns, right? Just spontaneously. Now that's not for every single person. That's not in every single, but that's the general consensus with the players that are in that kind of like class of competitive play. There's 2 worlds of competitive players. They're the newish and middle class, and then there's the people that have ascended to the upper part of the competitive scene, where you're starting to fight people that are playing by the PvP rules, and it's a really terrible area. It's a really terrible area. Like in terms of like brutality, it gets really brutal. It gets really you just see speed and strength. Like that's the only thing. It's either speed or strength. It's kind of disgusting. But yeah, that's just, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I still have to make. I'm sorry I haven't made the video on that. Yeah, I'm so late on that video. Talking about the 2 worlds of the competitive scene. There's two competitive scenes, and I haven't brought up that video yet. I should really get working on that. But anyway, Ulcis Pet, pretty good, especially in the newish / middle class area. You should totally invest your time in it. It's a really nice monster. Okay, so yeah, strength runes are now on sale. Personally, I highly recommend investing like when you reach the middle class area of the competitive scene. You have decent stuff now. You're all right with you have everything you need for war. Essentially, once you have everything you need for war, you need to invest your time in runes. You need to save up your coins for runes. Especially if you're a free to play player, you have to invest. I mean, you have to at some point save your coins for runes. You just do in order to compete with people that spend money on the game to get gems. Or they get gems and then they have the option to get runes. Essentially, that's how you do that. I highly recommend the very first thing if you're like really new. Once you reach again the middle class area, the middle area. Once you have you have a monster for every element in every war, you should invest in at least 3 speed runes, at least 3 level 9 speed runes. That's my highest suggestion. Once you get to that point, once you're all set, once you have everything under control, you need to invest your time in at least 2 or 3 level 9 speed runes. You need to do that very first. After that, it's totally your game. I imagine you going right after your speed, you go straight for strength runes, and that's totally fine. That's to do whatever you want. It's your game. Everything's fair. If you wanted, if you're a Voltic fan and you really wanted to invest in stamina runes, level 9 stamina runes, that's fair game. Again, anything's fair game. Whatever you wish to do at that point. I don't think there was much new on the board in terms of generals, because this is the only new stuff. I could post a link to the last fraternity event video where I talk about the rest of these monsters, because the monsters besides, Uria just left and then Reptie's always been here. I could talk about Repti real quick, but I don't think I need to really explain much for the rest of them. If you want a question on a monster, do ask me. I answer comments in the comments below if they pertain to information on the game. But yeah, Repti. I'm gonna talk about Repti real quick, and that kind of wraps up the video. I guess the Tao is new. Tao is the besides in terms of natural shop, that's Tao is new. But yeah, Repti. Repti is a really great beginner buffer. He gives out triple damage. Triple damage is the best damaging buff in the game. it's like once you apply it to your attacker, something dies if it moves. I mean, it's straight up something will die if they move and they actually land the attack on the enemy. It's just dead at this point. Such a really strong buff. He also has double damage, so that's also a nice thing. Uh, I'd say he's one of the best buffers in the game. He's not the best. I think people that's up to personal opinion. A lot of people would probably say Demise, and that's all right. I like to think Demise is really really great too, or like at least tippy top, at least the top five. For sure, top, in my opinion, the first like the top spot in terms of supporting monsters. Uh, yeah, because the amount of how quick a game goes because of her is just astonishing. But anyway, Repti is really great. I think he's one of the best, because he can apply double damage and triple damage. They can actually stack too. So if you manage to apply double damage and then you apply the triple damage, you're gonna do a lot of damage. Everything's dead at this point, depending on how brittle the enemy team is. uh, he has like good single target moves. He has a single target stun and he has a single target blind and damage reduction. I really love his like single target moves. Like everything about his kit is really simple and it's really nice and it's really great. It's a good beginner. It's a good beginner supportive monster. Or at least the idea of a denier, supporter, and damage dealer. I think he's a really friendly beginner monster. You should probably pick up on him. During the time he's out. He's also immune to freeze. He's immune to the most basic deny in the game, and I think that's also really huge. So do invest your time in Repti too. He's not bad. I do believe that is everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. Like if you're like, oh, Dib, should I get this general or this general, or like what should I put on this general or pet, so and so. I'll be happy to answer your questions. So yeah, that's everything you need to know. I'm Dib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.